Judging Rule 19. A contestant will be awarded a complete rework if in the judge or judge's opinion 2.5-minute time was not allotted for the work, or if excessive disturbance has been created by factors other than those caused by contestants or their help, or the judge or judges have stopped the time. Such factors would include gates coming open, fences falling down, and objects entering or falling into the working portion of the arena, but would not apply to cattle scattering through wildness or normal arena activities. Any rework must take place within the group of cattle drawn by the contestant and must occur before a change of cattle is executed. At the contestant's option, the rework may occur immediately or as the last work in that set of cattle. No rework shall be granted if the contestant involved has incurred a 3 or 5-point major penalty prior to a disturbance. After the cutter has completed his 2.5 minutes work, if in his or her opinion a situation has occurred of significant seriousness as to warrant a rerun, he or she may immediately make a request for the same to the contestant's representative or to the designated judge or judges, who shall report this fact to show management before the next horse is called to work. Show management shall make such facts as are available known to the judges, or if the majority are in agreement that due cause didn't exist, a rerun may be granted, provided the original work was free of 3 or 5-point major infractions. If the clock has not started, a rework will automatically be granted.
Okay, let's talk now. This rule talks about a long clock and a short clock. So let's first talk about a short clock, when the buzzer goes off too soon. Okay, then simply the judge would go back and figure out if on a short clock, if the contestant had occurred a 3 or a 5-point major penalty, then they would not be rewarded a rework. Okay, so somebody's down there working, the sound of the buzzer goes off before 2.5 minutes. The contestant's asking the judge for a rework. The judge would just simply have to determine, was there a major penalty occurred? If so, they would not get a rework. If that run was major penalty free, then that contestant would be rewarded a rework. That rework would have to take place in that set of cattle, and the judge would give the contestant the option to work immediately or at the end, the last horse in that set. So the contestant would make that decision. Now, it is the contestant's responsibility to ask the judge for a rework. Once the next horse in the draw, once that time clock is started on the next horse, the options for that rider previous to ask for a rework have ended. So any contestant that's going to ask the judge for a rework, you must do it before the time starts on the next horse. Once that clock starts ticking on the next horse, your options would be over. Very important. Most people do not understand that. They'll get confused. They'll go to asking their help. Should they ask for a rework? First thing you know, the next horse is headed to the herd. You've lost your option. So if you feel that a rework should be granted, go straight to the judge. That's one time that a contestant can go to a judge and have communication with him. Just simply ask him or her for a rework, and they'll give you an answer. Now let's talk about a long clock. A long clock is when you work longer than 2.5 minutes. In other words, they either did not start the clock and or the clock ran over and the buzzer never sounded. Anytime it's a long clock, longer than 2.5 minutes, then no matter whether you had a good run or a bad run, no matter if it was penalty free or it had major penalties in it, you would have to rework. In other words, when you go over and that buzzer never sounds, or you work 2 minutes 45 seconds or 3 minutes, whatever, it's automatic rework no matter whether you had a 60 or an 80 coming.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Rule 19.